Okay, so let's check and make sure we're streaming. All right. Welcome. Hopefully you can hear me. Welcome to the Dallas After Effects user group. Thank you, Melanie. We're just a group of, hi Mary, we're a group of After Effects users, beginner to advanced, that meet once a month.
So welcome, one and all.
And we would be very excited if you weren't watching this on the web, if you were sitting here with us. To know more about us, you can go to the user group page, facebook.com/group/DallasAEUG. And I'm going to turn this over to Morris, a longtime group member who's going to talk to us about DuIK. So take it away, Morris.
All right.
Excellent.
Everybody welcome Morris.
Thank you all.
Okay, I gotta make this my own. Hold on here, give me a second. So this is DuIK right here, DuIK, and
oh, click that green dot at the top. There you go.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, we had some. I was wondering where the effects went. Yeah.
Much better.
Okay, so yeah, that's what it's called, and I cannot remember what it means, but obviously the word inverse kinematics is in there as well. It's a German-made script, UI script that is made. If I'm just going to give you kind of
so you can
very
go,
quick primer.
It's rainbox.coop, and it's free to download. They do take donations.
Yeah, definitely.
But, it used to be duduf.net, but they've changed that. That's, I think, where the DU comes from.
Yeah, exactly. So it's and a lot of the tutorials, if you watch them, they are in Deutsch, German, and so you have to find some of the English translated ones. But I mean, there's quite a, and it's a pretty big community out there of character animators and character rigging people who use it. I think for something that's free, because we typically think of free as like a one-trick pony that can do one or two little things. I think this does quite a bit. I think it's pretty robust, and so we're going to get into it, and because there is a lot to cover, and my fear has been in doing this that we're not going to be able to cover everything. But I have a whole bunch of little comps that we're just going to kind of go through. First, I thought I would show you the interface, and so like I said, you can get to it from the windows, and if you go down here, and there's how you reach it, and so it brings up this UI panel, and there are some options there. I don't want to get into that, but so the main feature of DuIK is the auto rigging and all the inverse kinematic structuring that's kind of going on here, and we'll get into this here in a second. We're going to get a lot of detail into this. So that's what all of these are here, and sometimes when I open this up, I can get a little bit overwhelmed, and I'm going to try to break it down so that there's not anything overwhelming going on. The second tab over here are a whole set of automation tools that we have, and you see that it says wiggle and spring and blink and all that kind of stuff. And so these are just little script tools that throw in an expression and an expression controllers and things like that. So we're going to get into some of that, and then there's different things like here where you can convert keyframes to hold keyframes. So these are just some other minor little tools, and then you have settings. Okay, but like I said, I don't want to waste too much time. Then you have a calculator, a little handy-dandy calculator up here, and a notepad, just in case you need that. And if you want something that's kind of built into After Effects. Yeah, cool. Okay, So I thought first thing we ought to discuss is what is forward kinematics, and as opposed to reverse kinematic or inverse kinematics. So forward kinematics is the way we naturally think of moving our bodies, and so if we want to reach for something, obviously our torso has to be upright. We have to be in a certain position, maybe not twisted, and then we have to so that our shoulder can be in reach of it, and then from there our elbow and arm, and we can reach up and grab something. That's typically the way we think of that is what is kind of classically known as forward kinematics. And so you have this little example here, and it's anything where it's the automation is kind of controlled closest to the base position of the body, which in this case would be like the shoulder or the upper arm or something like that. Inverse kinematics is a different school, and the reason why inverse kinematics is mentioned so much in the world of animation is because it's a lot more intuitive way to animate. Right here, if you want to animate the blue thing here, the blue boxing glove, you have to kind of individually go here, and then you go down to the elbow, and then you might want to do that, and then anyway, so it's a little bit less intuitive. Whereas with inverse kinematics, once you get the rig set up, and look at that, I'll lose it. Hold on here. See, the fun part about this, I think we might have lost this when
Did the expressions break?
It might have. It's okay. It's okay. I'll do it again. So you got the right hand. Hold on. Right hand. Where's my elbow? Elbow's down here. Right arm. And then there we go. And then let's see if it will be nice. Hopefully it won't freak out on me. And what happens is you lose your hand. I don't know where it went.
Yeah, I'd say it's freaking out.
Yeah. Anyway, somehow or another it ended up way down there. And it might just be a parenting issue. I don't want to get into fixing it. Anyway, I'll show you more examples. Well, anyway, there goes this example. But the idea is that if you want to move, let's say the hand, if there was a hand here, it would be, you could move it a lot more, and it's a little bit more, like I said, it's a little more intuitive in the world of animation, because you don't have to move individual parts. You're controlling it with the hand. So if you want to, like I said, have it extend out here and punch the other glove or whatever. So that's kind of a nutshell idea of what inverse kinematics is.
One small problem. I don't got this magic motion maker.
So, if you are updated far enough in After Effects, there's a possibility that you can have the free download, which you can get from the DuIK site. Otherwise, there are actually expressions that he used to create this script. There are expressions created by Dan Eberts over at motionscript.com,
Yeah.
of course. And if you go to motionscript.com, you can actually follow through what he has done and create your own inverse kinematics setups.
Cool.
So,
and what's the download site for?
Yeah, you do have access. It's motionscript.com for Dan and the expressions, and it's Rainbox.
Yes. Rainbox.coop. See right over there? Right there?
Yeah, rainbox.coop.
Coop. Yeah.
For the script.
So is that where you get this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is free. Okay. So let's kind of get into the nuts and bolts of this. There's two basic ways that you'll probably see an animation out there. One is more of a rubber hose style animation, like we're gonna see here in a minute with her arms, and this is the Fry Girl, as I call her. And then there's also more of the stick animation. Okay. Either way, you have to create what is called bones. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how it's all done. Let me delete some stuff. And look at that, I got some more spray. Don't worry about this. Okay. I meant to get as much of this stuff as possible because I was obviously preparing and practicing so that I wouldn't come ill prepared. And let me get rid of that. Okay. So there's her, and there's her left arm there, okay? Oh, okay, here's one of the reasons why we're getting. Okay, so in creating an arm for in order to make it Puppet Tool compatible, you would think that you could probably use like the stroke or something like that, but you actually want to use like a very small rectangle. And let me, why is it not letting me undo this?
Yeah, if you're used to using shape layers, first of all, if you're not using shape layers, you're missing out because shape layers are pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to try and use shape layers in your comp and then apply something like the DuIK rigs to that, you have to pre-comp your shape layer. Because when you create a shape layer, it makes the shape layer the size of the comp. So if you, I think it maybe does the same thing with text. And any reference that DuIK or something like that in the Puppet Tool will have with the shape layer, even if it's just one line across the screen, will be a giant, it'll try to use the whole frame instead of just your little stroke line.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So yeah, I thought I went ahead and beforehand created this left arm. I thought I'd just kind of show y'all how I created the right arm. Mainly, like I said, illustrating that you don't want to do it with a stroke because the Puppet Tool, which is up here, and if y'all have never used the Puppet Tool, it's pretty dang cool. So let me just start by doing it, and you can kind of do this whatever order you want to, because we're gonna, because we gotta name this here in a second. So I'm gonna do the arm, elbow, and we got a hand here, and you go down into the effects and deforms, and there's, and I like to just go ahead and rename this. So we'll say arm. And naming things is a big deal in DuIK. You will find that there's parts of it that are not as intuitive as you would like them to be, you know. Of course, keeping in mind that, you know, free is the operative word, but that doesn't mean, like I said, that's a piece of crap or anything. It's really good. It's just knowing how to operate it, because
kind of speaking the DuIK language.
Yeah, exactly. Because, but so you have so I've created these 3 puppet pins here, and now I need to go in here, and you have to create what is essentially like a null object, but it's not a null object. It's really what they call a guide layer, and so you have to hit this bones button. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create bones, and okay, so now I don't have to worry about the and of course they're big and nasty looking, and don't worry, they won't, when you render, they won't appear. And you can also, here in a minute, I can get rid of them. And then the next thing I want to do is create what is called a control layer. And so notice I've chosen the hand here, because again, that's the way inverse kinematics is going to work. And I got to make sure I'm not going too fast, because sometimes it's easy for me just to kind of take off. So you go over here to this control button. We start out over here in bones, okay? And like I said, you cannot create something independently with a puppet pin. You have to create what is called a bone. And so I go over here to the control layer with this hand selected this hand bone that I made. That's what B, the B stands for in the, so this is bone right hand. Here are the options, and it kind of just says, okay, do you want a controller that will rotate? That's what this is right here. Do you want one that can move on the X and Y position? Yes. We want one that scales. We don't need that. So we're creating this controller, okay? And there's kind of, and this is where you have to just memorize the technique, and I end up messing it up quite often, is you have to go from out to in, I believe. So I choose the hand. The hand bone connects to the elbow, and then the arm, and then you have to choose the controller. Okay, and let me see if I got it right. Sometimes, like I said, things get really wonky here. Okay, and just so I won't get ahead of y'all, that's when I hit this IK button. Okay, and when you hit the IK button, it brings up another two options here. One is, you want this called a 3-layer IK, or a 2-layer with a goal. 2-layer IK with a goal. Okay, and I know that you're looking at that going, what the heck does that mean? What that means is there any radius in that last piece of the curvature? That's what a goal is. That's what is referred to as a goal. It's a rotation goal, and obviously that's what our hands, our wrists do. And so that's the curvature of a hand. We have the arm, elbow, and a hand that can flap up and down. And let's see if it works for us. Please tell me it did. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and turn these two guys off. I can actually shy them if I wanted to. And it creates a bunch of junk for you. Okay, so, and there's what we have. Let me go ahead and just sell this a little bit more. Let me go ahead and move. Where's Fry Girl at? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there she is, and she's got, and this is typically what you see on like YouTube when people are creating animations. They'll just kind of create these elastic looking dudes that are just kind of walking across the screen and things like that. That's typically what you're going to see. First thing you'll notice is that her hand is kind of pointing down like, and so if you go into this controller that we created, and the reason why you know it's a controller, it's got the little hashtag there, okay? But you notice it's like a shape layer, and like again, these do not render. They're created so that they don't render out. And you have a couple of choices of different things. First thing is, do you want this elbow to be going counterclockwise or clockwise? And now that we hit the clockwise button, the arm is doing a little bit better. This here is basically just saying, do you want to disable forward kinematic, or disable inverse kinematics, and which is to say it turns it into a forward kinematic. We don't want that. I would say we almost never want that. And then there's stretching. If you want to go for the Stretch Armstrong type routine and do different things, and depending on the kind of realism or what you want it to look like. If you don't want that kind of look, you just uncheck it, and even though the little guide layer might stretch out, her little arm is gonna stay looking pretty good,
Yeah.
So there's that, and then the goal in the right hand. I don't know quite. I think the goal that has to do with the rotation on this hand, I believe. And so like, if no, that doesn't seem to do anything. Does it do anything when I? No. Anyway, it doesn't. Let's move on. Okay. So let's go over here, and we'll do the same thing with the left arm here. And anchoring is a big deal. Sorry I didn't mention that a moment ago, but having your anchor point right there at the shoulder where you would want it. Otherwise, that would be mighty strange if it was anchored in the center or something like that. You're not going to get a good result at all. And so let me create one here, one here, one here. I'm just going to try to get through this one really quick so we can get through some more of these. And this is L underscore arm. Can y'all hear me okay? Okay. Just want to make sure I'm speaking loud enough. And
You got to make jokes and stuff for them to respond to you.
oh, okay, okay. Well, I had these entertaining little characters, and I thought maybe y'all would be laughing at that or something, you know. So don't laugh at me, laugh at my little characters. You know, I spent hours making these little eyebrows or eyelashes for her. But
do you have a website where you put up your dukes?
I've put a few on Facebook, and I probably have a couple on YouTube. I can pull up my YouTube channel here at the end. I don't have tons, and to me, I mean, I'm probably, I don't think I've ever had a paying gig where I've used DuIK just yet. It's more just a something to amuse myself with at this point, but a lot of people have. I don't know if you go to I went on the I was surprised to see that on the Rainbox on their demo reel the intro to BoJack Horseman was animated using DuIK apparently.
Yeah, that's
so
pretty good.
yeah, I don't know. So
sorry, I keep saying rainbox.co, but it's rainboxprod.co.
yeah. Okay. So again, do that. We go up here. We create these bones, and then oh my gosh. This thing's like opposite.
It is?
Like, that's okay. So I keep scrolling
it's the
up.
correct way.
Oh, okay. It's the correct way. Okay. Okay, so hand, elbow, arm.
Yeah, so he selected the hand and then created the control object.
Exactly. You go all the way out to in, then you create, then you hit this control object. And like I said, I always have a little bit of fear and trembling when I do this because sometimes it gets wonky. And okay, let me hide that. And let's see how we're doing here. Okay. Shoot. Hold on. It's not enough just to shy guy those. Okay. Now we get down to the feet here, okay? And she's kind of leaning like, oh my gosh. Trent.
Is it killing you?
You're...
Do I need to change it right now?
it's okay, man. I'll live. Okay. Next. And you know what? I made these strokes and I didn't...
break a leg!
I guess. Okay. I'm gonna kill the legs here. Yeah. Yeah, I was in doing that, I forgot that she's supposed to. Okay.
So you're creating the upper leg.
Yeah, R leg. Then you hit the Y. Wait.
Yes. Have to move off.
Now, if you hit Command Alt Home, because in the world of shape layers, it kind of just the anchor point gets lost, you know. And I do Command Shift Home, and it puts it right in the center again. And then I just move it up with the Y key. That's called the Pan Behind tool. Ain't that right, Trent?
Yep.
And then we're gonna do that. Now we have L leg. Okay. And just to make this, I'm just gonna go into the world of duplicate because so we won't be here all day. L ankle? I don't know.
I think he calls it shin, maybe.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. She's whatever it is. She's gonna have long legs. So. And then let's make a foot here.
You could just say upper leg and lower leg.
Yeah, it sometimes depends on what you are, the naming that you give it, it's important to have the same naming convention that the DuIK auto rig has. You don't have to use the auto rig, but it can be super easy if you create it and name everything like you're supposed to and hit auto rig, then typically the names of whatever you've done show up in the drop downs for leg or arm or spine or head or whatever.
Okay.
And it just makes it a lot easier. If you're just doing one of them at a time like we are here, then whatever. But if you're going to do the auto rig, it helps to name them what DuIK is looking for.
And, let's turn this.
Somebody's got a question.
Yes.
Yes.
I know this is like a nice simple animation, for example, for the arms. Do you, by any chance, does DuIK, is there like a weight painting for the IK for something that's a little bit more, if the design of the character is a little bit more, not anatomically correct, but more complex to know? Let's say it's a
More than
like a fighting character that has whatever on their arm.
search tool.
Is there like a paint weight on there where it tells you?
So
That sounds like a Maya
yeah,
thing. Or is
yeah.
that,
What you're
That's
kind of
the
getting,
IK?
yeah, what you're kind of getting at is if someone bends their arm, do they get muscles, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
There is a pose morph tool inside DuIK. I don't know exactly how to use it yet.
Should we
It
also
could be the rotation.
it's called
morph.
rotation morph, yeah.
Should we also be talking about the starch tool and the overlap tool?
In the paint. I'm sorry, in the puppet tool.
What are they?
Yeah. So there was a situation I ran into recently where I had a lower body, and then it was a lady who was wearing a dress, and her hips, like where her shirt connected to her hips, needed to stay locked. You could move her upper body around, but her outfit needed to stay locked in the same position against itself. And so I just used the starch tool to kind of get in there, and you can set starch points like he was setting puppet tool points. And you can also create, if you're doing this, growing muscle thing, I believe you could even create like an extra puppet tool with a null, and when you bend the arm, you just move the null and the puppet point and have everything kind of parented to each other. So do you have experience with that part of it?
I don't have a whole lot of experience with it, but it basically hooks up the rotation value to basically a morph target. And so basically, if you have let's say a spline, you can go on ahead and morph it out to like the inflated muscle, and you can have it morph between the two targets for the not inflated muscle and the flat muscle, and you can have that driven by the rotation, which is when you get into the rotation morph tool.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like that would do great for a Hulk out.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent question.
I have not run into that yet, so I have not experimented with it. That's great.
Okay, so now for something that's a little more stick created, where you have just straight edge shapes or whatever. What you do is it's the same kind of concept. You create and you don't have to create bones because you essentially do have bones with because you have the straight shapes and they're already anchored to one another. So I have the foot there, and so again, let's see, I'm going to make sure, okay, that's the right foot, so right foot, right ankle, right leg, and then that, and go ahead. Okay. And she's knock-kneed. So let me fix that. There we go. A little bit better. Okay. Okay. And again, I don't want to go for utter perfection here. Like that. There you go. And this one does respect the rotation of the foot. So, and lastly, let's do this one here. And you notice that it puts these controllers, whatever shape you choose to be at the controller, one, it names it after it. Second, it puts it at the exact location of their anchor point. So there's what that is. That's what's going on there. Let's see if I can ever get used to that. Okay, 2, 3.
You're going to get used to it here, and then when you go back to your own computer,
Oh, I
it's going
know.
to destroy you.
Oh, you know. You know it. And, okay, and we got problems here. Okay. There we go. Okay, what do we want to make her do? I don't know. I'm not good at this.
Macarena.
What if you move her body? What happens?
Yeah. So right now, if you move her body, she detaches. Okay. So we have to, this is a problem. Yeah. Let me fix that. What you will find in is, again, it's kind of like when you have a really complex animation where you're creating a number of nulls and adjustment layers and things like that. Before you know it, you have more stuff than you know what to do with. So what we do is we've chosen the Fry Girl, and let me move the anchor point down a little more center. I don't know where.
Put it down where her hips would be.
Okay. Put it down. So she's going to be dancing. You're right. Right there, you think?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the hip on a fry box? Tell me, Trent, please.
I had fry anatomy in school, fry box anatomy in school, but I just forgot all of it.
Okay. And to make something like this a little more distinguishing, you can choose a different color, and so we'll choose magenta, because why not? And we'll go with a big thing here, and it's, again, these are all checkbox rotation, X and Y, and there is that. And we still have achieved nothing because it's parented to nothing. So when you create a controller, you still haven't done it because you have to have it parent. You have parenting going on. So we parent Fry Girl to the controller Fry Girl. Okay, and so there's that. Now we get like the leg. I think it's the leg. Sorry.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm glad you're here. And then we get arm. We got
Do yeah, try the arms.
There's that. And then where is? I lost it. No, not the hand. Okay, that's left arm. Where did right arm?
I think that's correct. I think right hand is correct.
Oh, did I? Okay.
So then, I think if you parent the left hand and right hand up there to the Fry Girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
And
See what the arms are doing up there?
Yeah,
That's because the puppet tool doesn't know what to do with the arms.
after you go outside the mesh, right?
Yeah, after you go outside the mesh.
Mm.
So what you want to do is pre-comp, right? Pre-comp
I should have
each of the arms,
Mm-hmm.
and then your puppet tool is only right there around your piece. So if you click on the right hand, or try left arm. Click on left arm,
Okay.
and then go up to Puppet Tool and turn on the mesh.
Oh yeah.
Just hit escape. Oh, there you go. Show mesh.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in and see the mesh? I don't know. Oh, you should be able to see it. Oh, scroll. Yeah, okay. So see, that's where the mesh is, and it's reading from when you kind of scroll off of there and show that yellow outline. It's reading from there. So it's the mesh has been deformed, but it's reading from inside that yellow box, and we're not inside that yellow box when we move the arm outside of that.
One, if you're not doing a lot of work, you can always, that's a slight workaround.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work. Oh my gosh. Now, why is it though when you use the hand controller, the puppet, it respects it, but then you go to why? Okay. There we go.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. So
That is a sneaky fry girl.
yeah. So now I mean the setup is pretty crazy, and then you can do like this, and then this. We'll have her up here. Her legs are, and again, you can turn off stretching, and that won't happen. But we don't have that going on here. Okay. And then for the hand, we can, yeah. So there's some problems there.
That line of range, can it be wider? I know the range is there, but if it's wider, will it have like range limits?
That pre-comp takes care of that.
Yeah, exactly. And she can do her thing.
So you can get pretty complex animations just by keyframing, the feet and arms and hips with this thing, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So so there's that, and then another, and one of the methods. I mean, yeah, what I've shown you was standard, what they call standard IK. I'd like to get into auto rigging here in a minute. Okay. And I thought let's kind of move away from that and show you a few other things show you a few of these other things that we have going on here. That way we can just kind of take a break from it. I was going to make this burger guy, and I kind of ran out of time. That was the one last piece I didn't have time to do, was the burger guy.
He looks like he's going to be pretty swarthy.
Yeah.
When you get him done.
Yeah.
Muy suave.
So, but I can use, no, not the pickles, but, I had parenting going on here. So here's the top of the bun, okay? And just to show you another little piece here, I've talked to you about what this IK is and what these controllers are and what these bones are. This is called Zero. It just kind of, basically it creates what is essentially a null object, and let me, where's my bun? Where did my bun go? Yeah, here's the bun. So right now, if you'll notice,
I'll give you guys a hot tip real quick.
Mhm.
So scroll away from the bun in there, and then hit X.
oh my gosh, it's magic. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. So this is creates a zero. Sometimes when you're dealing with shape layers and other different types of layers, the problem is you have the world position, but then you have the shape position, and anyway, things can get wonky pretty quick, and it doesn't know where on the frame it can be. And so this is kind of a handy dandy thing. I don't necessarily know that I have a purpose for, but if you create that, you'll notice it zeroes out this bun layer, and it's parented to this. Gosh, where did it go? My gosh, Trent.
Is it killing you, man?
No, it's okay.
Hey, what's it called? Because you can search for it in that search bar.
Yeah.
Zero bun, it'll be right down at the very bottom.
Or it could be the top bun.
Yeah. Okay, there it is. Anyway, here's this little guide layer here, okay, called zero bun. Let me, and it doesn't seem to show up anywhere anyway. So yeah, there's your zero bun shape layer thing, okay, and so it's something that kind of is there to, like I said, it just zeroes out the position and then parents it to it. That's one thing. A renaming tool, I think we can kind of all figure out what this is all about. I mean, just get your layers. And, I didn't realize that you can even rename your pins, your puppet pins.
Pretty awesome.
That's
When
pretty
you're
cool.
when you're doing like left and right,
Mhm.
and if you create a bunch of left side stuff and you would just want all the same names for the right side, you can duplicate everything and select it. Tell it to remove the first whatever one character, and replace it with, instead of the L, it's the R.
Yeah.
And it goes. Not only does it do that, but it can also go through and rename all your expressions, so nothing breaks when you're done. It can take a little while to run this, depending on how many
It
layers
does,
you have.
yeah.
But it's just it's going through all the expressions, reading all the text, and making sure everything is taken care of, so that it doesn't break and you have to go sifting through all the time.
But the reason why you want like a renaming tool and it could come in really handy is because once you get into the auto rigging feature, where it will go through and it'll find it understands kind of intuitively that L_arm means left arm and left elbow, and if you name everything right, if you just call something head, it knows what the head is, or if you put tail end, it knows that the tail end go. And so when you click the auto rig, you don't have to sit there and choose all these different things. It should choose them for you. So there's that. Replace. That's not. I mean, I guess.
It's for inside expressions.
Okay. So yeah, and that's something I didn't really.
You can also, in the rename tool, you can also rename project items.
Yeah.
So if you have a bunch of misnamed things in your project, your client's looking for something different on their end, or your uploader is looking for a different name, then you can remove. It's not exactly regex. Like, you can't say find this set of characters and replace with this set of characters in your unless check replace right there. Does replace do project items? It does. So there's your regex. If you don't regular expression, that's what that stands for. It'll look for maybe a set of characters. So instead of out, you want everything to be in. It'll search for out and replace it all with in, just like find and replace in your text editor.
IK goal has to do with the orientation, mainly I think rotation. And so when you have different parenting things going on here, I think that when you hit IK goal and then there's no options that go with it, it just kind of goes ahead and adds it. And it's pretty much a yes or no type of deal. Let's see, let's see if we can. And there's already a goal added to foot, so that's a rotation goal. Let's see, and there's even a goal on the hand here. I'm trying to think of an excuse to put a goal in here. Okay, let's revisit that. And no problem. I don't know what list is.
So list I haven't used it any yet, but
Mhm.
if you select a property and you do list, it will give you a bunch of expression controls where you can put more expressions.
Mhm.
Meaning that if you want a wiggle and you want a little extra wiggle, or you have a wiggle and you want a little random in there,
Mhm.
you want to be able to create some other slider type things, then it will take your property and give you your value of your property inside this set of expressions, but it'll also combine all the results of this list. So if you click on position there,
Position.
click that,
Okay.
and hit list. So it gave you those 5 little twirl downs.
Mhm.
So twirl down 1, that's your property that you
Mhm.
have, and if you twirl down 2 and 3, like that, okay. So just do this in.
So it's for the different. These are the different shapes.
Well, no.
Within
So
there,
in
right?
value 2 there, create an expression.
Okay.
Yeah, and just do wiggle, open parentheses, 2, 100. Yeah, that's good. And close it. And then go down to the next one.
Okay.
And do an expression there.
That is
And do
awful
wiggle.
dancing.
Looks like me. So do like 7 and 80. Or no, 7 and 20. 20. Make it real tight. Okay, so now if you hit through there, take that weight for the first one and pull it down to 0.
Take that. Okay.
No,
Oh.
I'm sorry, that second expression there. Put that at 0.
Yeah.
And now play. So there's your tight little wiggle, right? And, and I want
And
to
you
make
can-
so many jokes.
Oh, and so you can kind of incrementally, you can keyframe the weight of
Yeah,
it to
so
where
take that weight there, put a keyframe for that, and then scoot down maybe a little bit farther than that so you can see the change. Keep going, keep going. Yeah, make that 100. And now as you play through, it adds that larger wiggle in over time. And you can do that yourself, of course. You're all smart people. You can get in there and
it's a
and
slider.
combine wiggles and do sliders and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But he just gave you an easy tool to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And
And that's what
combine
this
them up.
that's what this next section is the automation tools. These are pretty cool. And this is basically just adding expressions and expression generators. So I got a whole bunch of. I get rid of. I can't get rid of that, can I? Okay. So, for instance, we got the wiggle here. Okay. And there's my soda drink. So let's go ahead and add a wiggle on the. Oh yeah, it might help if I choose something. So let's do position wiggle on the straw here.
And Morris hit P to twirl down position.
Yeah, I'm way down here and hit P on the straw. And it will go ahead and separate the dimensions. In this case, we want to separate the dimensions. And so there's my so there's the amplitude. That's how many pixels it's kind of going up and down. Gosh, let me just go 30. Okay, I'm having a hard time with that slider. And then frequency.
That's how many times per second.
Yeah, so I always do. To me, 0.5 just always works for me in the world of wiggle. And then we can even hit R for rotation and hit wiggle again. And we'll do a frequency of 0.5 and maybe an amplitude of 10. And so now you got your little soda thing just kind of doing its deal there. And and it's all slider driven. So if you want to, it's easier than getting out into that expression and making changes. And if you look in here, oh my gosh, yeah. Anyway, there it is. You know, it's all there. Of course, it's a lot more complicated, but in the end, it's still just a wiggle with, you know, it's a variable driven wiggle and all that kind of stuff. So.
And if you've been following Dan Eberts and motionscript.com for a while, he has that looping wiggle expression that you can copy and paste into here. This just greatly simplifies you having to find it and copy and paste it and adjust what he did.
Yep.
So he gives you that looping duration is pretty awesome.
Let's see.
And something that I would offer up in addition to that, if you go back to your straw and you create an expression with that loop duration.
Okay.
And you type in this capital C comp dot duration.
Oh yeah, so it does the whole duration of everything.
So that looks at the length of your comp and does the wiggle by the end of your comp. So when it loops, it loops the wiggle by the end of your comp. So when it goes back to 0, you have a looping comp. Okay, but then if you change the duration of your comp, the loop still happens from the end to the beginning.
Awesome. Yep, it's a good little expression. Okay, so there's that. Now we have the taco here, and so this is swinging, okay, and this is just an oscillation. So we just go ahead and again, we have to find whatever value we want to oscillate. We can do it with you know, anything, opacity or whatever. So we're going to do it with that, and there's our teeter-tottering taco there, and you can do the damping kind of. I don't know, how do you explain damping? It sort of
removes the oscillation over time.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And then you can offset it where it. See, right now it starts at the 0. So if you want to offset it, it'll start there. You can have a way bigger amplitude if you want to make this thing just go nutso. And now that's pretty. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Six Flags is clamoring for that ride.
Taco about a fun ride.
Oh my gosh.
Well played, sir.
Okay. This one is make sure that I got the right one.
I love your little pictures there, Morris. Good job.
Oh, thanks.
Did you create all these?
Heck no. Do y'all ever go to vecteasy.com? Okay. It's free vectors. Pixabay is the same thing. Yeah. Vecteasy. VEC.
You want to go there real quick? So let's do. Let's go to OBS. Go to OBS and click.
Live.
Web. Have we been on web this whole time? Oh, not. No, maybe we've just been on desktop. So do transition there. Yeah, that's right. And then click here and do a new tab.
Oh,
yeah, and go to Vecteasy.
Yeah. So Vecteasy, these are all free. Some of them need a little bit of attribution, so if you use them on a YouTube video or something like that, just kind of give them a link to whatever. But you know, and yeah, you get a pop up for Shutterstock because you know that's how these people make money is they give you some free stuff. But you know, hey, let's.
Oh, Jeremy, they got your punch.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
They did.
So there we go. And yeah, it's. I mean, I think these are pretty good. You would, like I said, you would think for free vectors they wouldn't be any good, but I like them pretty well. Pixabay is another one I go to a lot. They got some great images there.
Yeah.
Photography and whatnot. You got the cool looking dude here. So.
Tim when he was 20.
Tim, that was Tim. Tim was modeling for that.
Oh yeah.
Back in November.
All right, we back. Oh.
Let's do, yeah. One more. There we go. go.
All right, we're back on it. Okay, so this one here is, we got the drink here, and this is called Spring, and basically you have, and what I have here is my drink here, a nice little lemon water thing, and if you parent these other items to this drink, or to this shape, when you hit spring, it will, see, I got to turn off. Hold on here. See, I'm giving away the fun here.
Yeah, here's another hotkey for you. If you do Shift Command E, it'll get rid of all your or your effects on your layer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You can select multiple layers if you do.
Wow.
You can select multiple layers, but just be aware that if you hit Shift Command E, it'll get rid of all the effects.
Oh, wow. So let's say we have, you go to some place, and let me, I think this is kind of a fun effect myself. Okay, I didn't know how many frames a second we were doing here. Go up here. Let's, anyway, you go somewhere, you ordered a glass of water, and he's mad at you for ordering water instead of a drink, and so he kind of just slams it down. Oh my gosh, he didn't. No, it looks like it's coming down from heaven or something. Here, let me try this again. Okay, yeah, okay. I could probably even do it faster. Okay, so there's that, and then we can do spring here, and if we want to get a little bit of realism, we can hit. Oh gosh, see, I do this all the time. You got to select a property. So we want to select position property. You can do it without the simulation, or you can do it with simulate with the heavy computing. There's not much going on here, so we can do this. And for some reason, let's play with this. Let me. Oh yeah, it only did one at a time. Yeah, you can only add this one instance of this at a time. So that's why it's not doing much. Okay, so what do we want to keep the trigger speed. We want to keep, let's take 2 and 9 maybe. Yeah, let's do 2 and 9, I think is what I was going with last time. 2, 9, and 2, 9. So basically, I think the higher amount of elasticity, the more reverberation you're going to get, and the damping is just going to keep the decay from. I think it lowers the decay amount. Decay is like when you have a pendulum swinging back and forth, and you don't want it to go on for all eternity. If you have decay set to 0 in the world of After Effects and expressions, it's just going to keep on going and never stop. So I think the higher the value, the sooner it'll stop. So you have this, and we could probably have it go a different way, but to sell it a little bit more, you know. But still, the idea is that you have something else that is responding to the primary movement. It's kind of that secondary motion that's going on here.
It's pretty awesome.
So yeah, and I think in my other example, I tweaked it a lot more where all three of them were kind of interacting a little bit more, but.
And so you would just change some of those values to kind of get them to move slightly differently.
Yeah, and I think I did something to the rotation on the ice and things like that. You know, there's different things you can kind of do with it because yeah, you can do that as well. So there's that, and then let's see. Then we have blinking. Okay, where's my? So we have the heart here. And the eyes from the other scene. Let's see, the heart cookie and the. So I have an instant of open eyes, and then I have closed eyes. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this so we can see what's going on. I suppose, and a lot of these there are different. You know, there's tons of ways to do these things. What did you say? Control Shift E.
Shift Command E.
expression still in here. Okay.
And to get rid of the expression, you option click on that equals sign.
Yeah, exactly.
Or yeah, on the stopwatch too.
Okay, so we have open eyes, and then we have closed eyes. Let's say we want to make her blink. And you know, I tried this several different ways, and I'll show you. Oh wait, you know what? Hold on here. Oh my gosh, I can't see.
There's some light over there.
No, I had an expression in here, and I think I lost it. You'll have to help me with it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
know where you're going.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so let's kill her closed eyes, and so we hit blink, and of course you have to hit, I think, T for opacity. Is that what they're saying? Yeah. So basically, this is saying every second it's gonna be on. Okay. And if you notice, you go about 15 frames in. Sure enough, it says time on is 50%. So once per second, there's a blink going on. You go over here to 1, and it's back on. Now you would think, I thought it would be cool is if you could have these somehow kind of interact together, and that didn't seem to. I don't know. I never could get to.
So I can help you have them interact if you would like.
Yeah, exactly. And I created a. Let's see, what did I do? I created a value. Basically, I inverted the values. I said, if this is on, the other one's off. How do you?
So hit expression.
Yeah.
And do 100 minus, and then pick with that opacity.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we just turn it back on. And so you have blinking kind of going on here. Okay. So it's not these aren't real sophisticated little automation tools, but they're kind of fun to play with, you know. Let's see. This is auto orient. Just for the sake of time, let me get away from. I'm not going to do the auto orient. This is the same thing as just going up here and going to layer and layer and auto orient, you know.
Yeah.
But it does it with an expression instead. Okay. The wheel tool is pretty cool. I wanted to show y'all that. So let's see if we got. And sure enough. Okay, so let me start over here, and let's say we want to make this Oreo cookie kind of roll like a wheel. And
we call it chocolate cookie.
Chocolate cookie?
Yeah, we can't pay royalties.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Okay, so
chocolate sandwich cookie.
there we go, because we want to reveal like what is really the best part of the cookie right there. So, yeah, I think if I go over here and I can kind of have it roll down the hill just a little bit, like, you know. And what I did to change that value was I went over here to the convert vertex tool. So there's that, but it looks like it's more or less just kind of sliding off, you know, which doesn't look good. So this has a pretty nifty little thing here where let me hide this, and so you do the wheel, and it's going to ask you for the radius, and you're going, how in the world am I supposed to know the radius? And you hit measure, and it's like there's nothing there. So what you do is you create a null object. Okay.
I think if you just apply wheel.
Oh, it kind of guesses. Yeah, it does it 100 or
do
something.
it based on the size of the layer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it always did it at 100 by default or something. I could be wrong.
I also could be wrong.
Okay. But if you want to measure, there is this measuring tool, so I thought, let me just show you that.
Yeah, just show.
So what it's doing is it's looking at the anchor point, which we already have that dead in center, because if you want to rotate something, that's the way you do it. And you put it on, you put the just a null or any other thing on the very edge. You got to select both of those, and it selects and it says, hey, your radius is 120. So we can get rid of this null object. And wait, I might want to. I still need. Okay, measuring it's not enough. I still have to. So this is a curved movement, and so you have to define whether it's just a regular horizontal or a curved movement, and it goes ahead and does its thing. And I think, like I said, I think it's pretty cool. Am I missing something?
No, I think it's rotating. Just
It's just so
don't play. Just kind of scrub through, and you can watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah, select it. So you can just see the bounding box work.
Oh, okay.
But turn the bounding box back on. There you go.
Yeah. It is going. I probably should have made an entire screen out of this one, but I didn't. Anyway, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
To to get that, because that is one of those things that's hard to sell, a good rotation effect of the wheels and things like that. And this can do different things. And if you want to make it go faster and kind of really sell it just a little bit more, you can always turn the rotation down even further. So there's that. Okay. I mean, other little minor things that you can do is like creating a lens flare, which, I don't know. To me, it's not as big a deal. I want to be able to stop this here in a minute so I can go back and we can do the auto rigging. So if we wanted to create... Alright, so... Oh my gosh, what am I doing, man? Flare 1. Okay. Flare 2. Flare 3. Oh my gosh, someone's yawning out there. I heard that. Oh, it's okay. I'm trying to keep this nice and. Oh my gosh, man, y'all are killing me. Y'all are killing me. Where's my line? I gotta have some distribution here. Okay, the align and distribution tools are like the best. So if you want to create a little lens flare, again, I don't know that you might ever want to. You just select your items and it kind of does this, and there's nothing really fancy about it. Let's go ahead.
That's just brilliant.
Yeah, it's oops. Yeah, and whatever is considered like the first element in there is your lens flare. Like I said, it ain't the coolest thing in the world. Here's paint rigging.
Well, I would offer that it is pretty cool because you can basically create your own lens flare look, and you don't have to rely just on the After Effects lens flare.
Yeah. If you want to create like a 2D looking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you can also hook it up with expressions to put it in 3D space. So maybe I can show you that
Okay.
in a bit.
Let's see, paintbrush. I wanted to get into this real quick. So the way you do paintbrushing is you create a new solid, and then you turn on the paintbrush, but then you have to double click and get in the layer within that composition, okay? And we have white here. And so, I don't know, do you use paintbrush a lot? Cause
I have something I can show with this.
Okay, so I'm just going to create some basic little paint strokes here. Go back over here, and there's our paint strokes. You have to turn on transparent if you want to go back to this. And where is that paint rigging. Yeah, paint rigging right here. So all the, and this is stuff that you're going to find when you have paintbrush, you know, when you have it, all it's doing is creating expression controls, things like that. So that's kind of all this is. And so if you just want to go over here and do 0, and
It may be that you need to go into your paintbrush and have it do constant. Go to your effects over here and scroll down a little bit.
okay.
Scroll here. Sorry, just come here and do your mouse wheel.
Yeah.
Not there. There you go. Other way. We're trying to get to where the paintbrush stuff is.
Where did it go? Okay.
Maybe grab here and pull down on the, yeah. Because there's the way you see. Oh my gosh. So maybe scroll up here with that. So what we're trying to do is see.
Hold on, there's some stuff here.
We're trying to see how it is going to paint on there. Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
And there we go.
Okay.
That's all. Maybe not. Let me see real quick.
So
So I'm trying to figure out. There's a way in your paintbrush to paint either. There we go. Single frame. So the duration of the frame that you create, the paint that you create, is going to be one of these.
Okay.
Let's try constant and see
Okay.
what that does.
Okay. So I need to
then
kill my.
go in and
Kill
your-
it and.
yeah, put it back on there.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're just painting on that one frame. Yeah, caps lock over.
Oh my gosh, Trent, you're good, man. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Paint rigging.
There you go.
Ah, jeez, man. There we go. All right. And you just turn that on and off, okay? So that's what that is.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then paint group 2, basically it takes selected strokes, and so you can, right here you don't have any control over that. So that's what paint grouping does. Okay. And then you have randomize, which, like I said, I just I had this donut here that I was gonna do, but okay, so randomize just says select these layers and move them. Okay.
So you just created a bunch of new.
Yeah, and you have to create a value. You have to tell it in here. So you have to say something like 100, or 1,000 minimum or maximum. And then you say 500 minimum. Same thing here, 500 and 50. So this is just basic randomization. And what is it not liking? It doesn't like something here.
Do you need to select a property?
Probably. Okay, it is something like that. That's what randomize is. Okay, so let me get into auto rigging because we have 30 minutes left, and man, time is kind of flying, you know. Okay, so like I said, it can be overwhelming. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Okay, so let's see if we can animate kind of a walk animation. So we have ankle, foot, and leg, and
so what I'm name those right and left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do this for me. And, go back to where you just had ankle, foot, and leg.
Mm-hmm.
Undo 2 times, maybe 3 times.
Okay.
Yep. So open the rename.
Okay.
And on the prefix, do R underscore.
Yeah. Okay.
And then hit rename. There you go. Did it do? Okay, so it's going through and making sure it doesn't have any expressions that it needs to do.
Yeah. Did y'all see how it did that?
So rename those. Now, if you duplicate, you have that R at the front and the 2 at the end, so you can remove the first.
Okay.
Yeah, you change that to L.
And then suffix.
And then remove 2 digits. No, get rid of suffix. Uncheck suffix. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Remove 2 digits on the end, 2 digits on the beginning.
Remove 2 on the beginning.
Because you're going to get rid of R underscore and replace it with L.
Okay.
Then you hit rename again. There you go.
That is just too cool.
That's handy right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we have L and
If it's one layer, it's just easy enough to read there. But
okay. Okay, so here's our weird looking dude here. Let me on here. See, this stuff is crazy. It's like if you really want to make sure that. Okay. Oh my gosh. Get that leg. Oh my gosh.
yeah, you're all right, Mark.
Not good.
You're all right. You're all right, Morris. Don't worry.
Oh yeah. It's happened to everyone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's go ahead and just take care of that. Okay. So there's the foot. We want to go back over here. And, oh yeah, we want to auto rig this. Jeez, I was about to do this all manually. Yeah.
Go ahead and pre-comp that arm. Actually, if any of them are shape layers, let's pre-comp all of them.
Individually?
Yeah. And
Okay.
then
just, but you have to go back and,
go into that layer.
go into it?
No, maybe that'll work. Maybe that'll work.
Okay. And then we'll,
But if you're going to use the puppet tool, you need to pre-comp it.
yeah. Okay. So, auto rigging. Let's see. So when you do auto rigging, first it's going to give you the choice of doing an ungulate, which is, you know, horses, giraffes, and whatnot, camels, and hippopotamuses. And then you have the digigrade, which is any of your hooved animals, or being your clawed animals like dogs and cats and dinosaurs and walking birds. And the plantigrade, which is, well, it's you and me. Or primates or rabbits. Apparently we're all plantigrades. Okay, so now you can do arms and legs and things like that individually, in as an auto rig, and you'll notice it has gone ahead and chosen the hand, R_hand, and of course I don't want to hit OK because I have not created the puppet pins for it. But same thing with the legs.
But it's looking for, so up here, it's looking for these terms: femur, thigh, tibia, calf, knee, foot. It's looking for those terms over here in your layer stack.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't choose the foot though. Okay. And then you can create things like a tail, which are pretty cool, and spine and neck. So it does give you the full thing of what you can be created. Let me go in here and very quickly with puppet pin. Okay. And what's up? You sound like you're about to say something.
Yep.
Okay, there's those, and then I have to get a little solo action going on here. And L_hand. Elbow and L_arm. Okay, and we will create bones there. Okay, let's go back into our auto rig, and maybe we'll turn off some stuff. Okay, let's see if it works. And I thought maybe it would femur. Wait.
So hit cancel
Mhm.
and deselect everything. Now try.
Foot, ankle. See, I didn't name everything right. I should have named it right. And then foot. Now that it's looking for the right ankle, is that right? And then right leg. Next, it found the left hand, left elbow, left arm, so I did find that. And it found the right arm. And then for the head, I think I just put body. I guess the head is the body kind of thing, right? These layers needed.
So do head as your, or hips as your body. You can also create a controller maybe for your hips,
Okay.
but do, yeah.
Well, I know, no doubt, man. I thought
Maybe do cancel,
cancel.
and then create a hit controller.
Okay.
Set your anchor point.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
Yeah.
set your anchor point before you create.
Okay. Okay, controller. Okay.
So hit U to twirl everything up in your layer or your timeline. Hit U to twirl deselect. Hit U. All right, hit U again. There you go. Everything's twirled up. Hide your red layers. Nope. Hold on. Undo that, and then turn the eyeballs off.
Oh yeah. Golly,
That's all you need to do.
Yeah. Okay.
And then rename or hit select those red layers. No, I'm sorry. Go to your controller. Go to your controllers
Okay.
up the top for those.
Which controllers?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Select all those red layers.
Yeah.
Just shift select down and do rename or replace. Replace.
Okay.
Search hand. Is it hand or elbow? Maybe search elbow.
Okay.
Because it found hand, right? Search elbow. And
Okay.
replace it with, what did it say? Tibia? No. It found the elbow? Which one did it not find?
Oh, the legs. Ankle. Yeah, like ankles. And
Okay, yeah. So select all your leg bits
stuff. Okay.
and replace all of the ankles with shins.
Shin.
Cap,
Shin or calf? Calf, we like calf better?
CAL should do it.
Yeah, okay, good. And leg, replace that with thigh. Later. Okay, sorry.
Or femur. If you like femur. Okay.
Now deselect everything. Uh-huh.
Man, auto rig. Full character. Oh my gosh.
Got him. Next.
Beautiful.
Next. Got it.
Okay, for the head is really.
No, do body. Just the layer body, not the
Oh
controller.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then down here is the controller for the body, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of does its magic. Let's see if it all works out. That's beautifully confusing looking, doesn't it?
And then I think if you're going to do your hips, you have to parent the leg, the thighs to the. It's parented to the body. So hit layer 1. Grab layer 1.
Yeah. Okay.
And try that guy. Oh no, I'm sorry. It looks like, is it layer 2 that you need to move?
Let's see.
There you go. Look at there.
That's. You know what? It's just there's a little bit of lag going on. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay. And another thing that you can do also, I think, is to lock these down so you won't be hit, because you don't need to do anything with these shapes. And my gosh, this is like.
What you can also change the size of your controllers, and your controllers will they'll be a little more.
There's some serious lag going on as part of the problem. Yeah, we could have gone with smaller controllers.
I think something that saves some time, maybe, to reduce lag, is when you have your hand guys here, instead of going not full is going to help, but like your hands and arms, pre-comp them and just slice them to just this area here instead of pre-comping the whole shape layer.
Okay.
And doing the puppet tool. If you just do this little area here instead, then it doesn't have to think quite as much.
Okay.
The controllers can be scaled though without having it disrupt the rig.
That's good. So if you select your controllers
Okay.
up at the top of your layer stack,
now these are bones.
go up to layer 1. Yeah, and select all those controllers down to layer 7 and just scale them down if possible.
No.
Did it scale your?
You know what,
layers and stuff?
you can do updates on these though.
Oh, you can update your controllers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And
Change them to small.
yeah, change them to small, and then click update. Let's see if it. Hopefully, it won't give you an error or
go.
something.
That's much nicer.
Oh my gosh, isn't that what a change that makes? So there is updating features. I think the stuff like that's pretty comes in pretty dang handy.
So I think you're inside the shape layer now instead of just the layer. There you go.
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's so
I
funny.
believe in you,
Yeah.
Morris. I believe in you.
Okay, there we go.
That's great.
And let's kind of get these arms out of the
You're
way.
inside the shape layer again.
Am I in the shape layer again?
So don't select it and move it. Just grab it. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can
I
get.
don't think we have time to do a walk cycle.
Yeah, no. We need to wrap this up, don't we? Yeah.
What I would like to do is show you guys a little kind of thing that I learned from watching some hand animation stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
think I posted it on the Facebook group, but I wanted to show you how to use it with DuIK.
Go for it.
Thank you, man. Big hand from
Yeah.
Morris. That was awesome, dude.
Yeah, a lot to cover.
You came way more prepared than I expected, and I really appreciate that. Okay.
Are we wrapping off a version of DuIK tonight?
Yes.
Sweet.
If you have any letters from the English alphabet in your name, you get a free copy of DuIK.
Mine are all in Spanish, sorry.
Spanish. Man, the Spanish alphabet gets me again.
That double L.
It gets me
Double
every
L
time.
gets it all the time.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of animation real quick. I'm going to put a solid in here. We'll do layer new solid like that. And so what I want to do is maybe create kind of a motion path that I'm going to animate on. So let's just get a maybe the brush tool, and on this I'm going to go here and just kind of create a template for what I want. And let's change my brush color. Where is that guy? Come on, brush, you can do it. There we go. Thank you, Carl. Like that. And then we're just going to go, okay, what if we had something that was kind of like, if I can, constant, on here, paintbrush, and something froze, it looks like. Yeah, After Effects froze. So we're going to go to that guy right there. Force quit. And I'm going to load up this version of After Effects. Real quick.
Oh my gosh.
There we go. And here we go. So I'll create a new comp, 1280 by 720.
Are you streaming?
I should, oh yeah, thank you. So let's transition back to the desktop. And I don't know if I need full res right now. And I'm going to put a new solid in here. And double click on it and get the brush tool. And we're going to go to paint down here. Come on, paint. Okay, so we're going to do constant right now. And that right there. And then, so this little technique that I learned from the, it was an Adobe Animate tutorial that I saw, basically Flash, where the person was animating to bring something back into After Effects. I was like, man, I don't want to go to animate. I just want to do it all in After Effects. So his kind of traditional animation workflow was to come in here and mark off kind of how fast he thought the animation would run. And so I'm just going to do basically some evenly spaced tick marks here. Like that. And I'm on this layer here. This is going to be my guide layer, my Cindy Lauper, like that. And then I can come back out like this and put in that solid one more time. And what was I doing here? Okay, I can make this, I'm going to do toggle switches and modes and make this a screen. So it lays down over top of this black layer. And I'm a pre-comp. So this is going to be my guide pre-comp. Okay. And you know what? Before I go any further, though, I need to open this composition and go back to my guide layer. Paint here. wherever it is. Oh, goodness gracious. You should be able to see it. I can also do panel transparent, I guess.
Here's the layer, not the comment.
I should be opening this layer here to be able to see it. Okay, well, I think what I might do is just work on top of this layer anyway. Okay, I don't know why that's doing that, but at any rate, I'm going to at least come back on here with my brush again, and in order to do easing on this kind of thing, I'm very sorry it took me so long to get to this. Anytime I want to do easing, what I want to do is kind of come in here and split this up. The idea is, like, if I have this as my path, I can split it here and split it in half all of these times like this, and every time I split in half with another tick mark, then I get better easing. Okay, so I'm going quickly here, and then my frames are kind of bunched up together without much movement away from the previous movement. Does that make sense? If you do easing and you look at your motion path, this is basically what you're going to see. Okay, and we can actually use other parts of After Effects to help us with this easing stuff, if you want to look at that at some point. I'm going to, let's see if I can get this brush up here and maybe go down a little bit. Okay, so with that in mind, let's say I want to have a little easing here. So I go like that, and like that, and like that, and maybe I'll ease out. Not quite as slow on an ease out, and when I get to the top of this thing here, I want to go here and there and there. When I come to this area here, I want to break this into little bits so that when it goes through here, it just kind of goes and ramps up, flies off. And what I'm doing is I'm creating animation points for myself. So when I put my my little shape layer in here, like this, to put my shape layer in, let's do maybe like that. I'm going to double click and I put my shape layer in full frame. If I just hit UU, I can come in and change my size. Okay. So this is my ball, rename that, and I'll twirl down my position and set a keyframe. So let's see, what am I working with? 30 frames a second. Let's do 24 frames a second. Okay. And what we're going to do is animate on the twos. So every time we have a position, I'm going to do 2 frames for that position. Okay. So it's my first position. I'll hit page down, and you can see that I've moved down 2 frames, and I move over here to this point. And I can even change my opacity to make sure I'm landing in the right spot. Now that I have this keyframe, I'll page down 2 times, go here, page down 2 times, here. And once you have your marks in here, your motion tick marks, all you have to do is page down 2 frames and just try to land on your tick marks there. that. There, there. I'm going to hold the space bar to bring up my hand tool and scoot over. So I've already scooted down. It's time to go to that. Page down twice, page down. And we'll get a little more granular here. Like that. Sorry. And page down. There we go. All right. And we turn that guide layer off. You can see our motion path like that. And I'm going to hide my motion path and just hit 0 for the RAM preview. All right. Does that make sense, what I did? So you can also, if you are feeling super creative, you can pull out a sheet of paper and draw out some motion paths and make your tick marks. Somehow screenshot your paper. Do you screenshot paper? Or do you take a picture of paper? Thank you, Mary, for calling me out on that. See me after class. Just kidding. Yeah, like you blink at it and you get the screenshot, right? So then you put that in After Effects and there's your motion path. And now that you have your tick marks in there, because you've already done your tick marks on your page, make your keyframes out there, and then when you bring it in, you've got what looks kind of like that, and you end up having your really interesting motion, okay? And we didn't do easy ease. We didn't have to mess with the graph editor, right? We took a concept from traditional animation and applied it to After Effects, okay? So maybe, let's say we were to go here and do like a bouncing look. So we go with the brush tool and we go like that. We come in and we put our keyframes. That's how fast we want it to move, basically, throughout the movement. That. And we want to get a really interesting little attack out of there. Then here, and then maybe here it's very excitable, so does that thing. Like that. Okay. And then we just jump back into our comp and our ball. Delete those. We could, yeah, we could. Once we have our ball motion, we can then go in and add squash and stretch and all that kind of stuff to it. So set my position. I think we'll go here first. So I'm getting tight in there, and I'm grabbing my position keyframes. So sometimes I have to get a little closer. Once you kind of have this thing drawn out, it doesn't take really much time at all to go and do all those keyframes. So we'll zoom back out to full. So, of course, I didn't spend much time on it. Once you do this, if you do it more and more, then maybe the kind of the traditional animation style will start to work itself out in your mind. Like, if I do these keyframes here, this is the result that I'll get. And you can actually bring a lot of life to your characters, your text, your shape layers, whatever. And then we can, let's see, our comp 1, that's our ball, like that. We can pre-comp that, and then maybe we put on an echo. That, but we don't want to add composite and back. Maybe we want the decay like that. So then we have a little trail, kind of a motion blur feel. Or we can do back in time. We can go to pixel motion blur. So I'm adding the motion blur kind of in post. Okay, any questions? You guys see where you could use this maybe? Yeah. So you got a lot of stuff tonight. There was a serious download into your giant brains. Morris did a great job kind of going through DuIK and all the wonderful opportunities, especially with these animation tools. The automation tools. There's also the ability to do animation curves. So something that I have a problem with is if I set position, rotation, and scale on something and I want to have easing, then I have to select each property by itself, the keyframes of each property by itself, in order to get my to change the keyframe interpolation. Have you guys run into this? And if I try to select scale, position, and rotation, it only does one of those keyframes. I can't remember if it's the first one you select or the last one you select. But with DuIK, if you do this animation, you can set your keyframe interpolation and your speed and apply it to a group of keyframes across multiple properties. And that saves me a lot of time if I'm kind of getting granular with my easing. So that exists. Also, something that I have to deal with periodically is that I can't select anything else here right now, because I'll show you this here. If I try and open DuIK again, it's going to tell me that there is a modal dialog somewhere waiting for a response. and I have no idea where that is. I can't see it. I don't know if it's from DuIK or somewhere else. It's probably from DuIK. But the way to fix that is to quit After Effects and, quit After Effects and then open it back up.
Is it a pretty simple installation?
It is. It is. Yeah, the installer, he made it real simple. You can install across, like if you have multiple versions of After Effects, you can just install like that. So there it is, that automation tool. And you would select your multiple keyframes, and then I would just come in here and do 66. That's my favorite. And select my keyframes and hit set. And it does it all across all those keyframes.
It's kind of hard to find, so I usually just do it on Google. There is a 70-page PDF manual that's pretty visual. It's not just a bunch of boring text.
Yeah.
And
so let's
that's
go.
kind of some, maybe instead of checking Facebook, you can throw it on your iPhone or something like that and just kind of read it, when you spare time. But it's got all these features that I kind of went through, and I know I just kind of did a huge, big time overview of it, but a lot of it did come from the
So we're going to go rainboxprod.coop and down to guides.
They try to sell you some color guide. And,
yeah, and you can just you can get the
tap
PDF right here.
It's kind of hidden. So
yeah.
There it
so
is.
That exists for your viewing pleasure. And that's all the time we have. Hope you enjoyed it. Please visit us over at facebook.com/group/DallasAEUG. Come to the groups. We have dinner beforehand. If you missed dinner, you missed a treat because it's always tacos or burritos. At Tacos y Mas just up the street. And they're good tacos. So we'll be excited to have you guys back next time. Tell your friends, and don't miss a meeting because you might miss one hotkey that's going to save you so much time. That X. Oh, all right. So thank you for coming. You guys take care, and we will see you next time.